Hello everyone, this is Var Akobian with 1000 GM, and we're going to be doing a recap video for the round number 5 of the St. Louis IM Norm tournament. And the first matchup we have WIM Antova against Caleb Demby. Let's take a look at this game. D4, knight f6, c4, e6. We have a Nimzo Indian defense. Attempt here if the knight goes on c3, Nimzo Indian will happen with the bishop b4. But Gabriela says no Nimzo by playing knight f3, d5, knight c3, bishop b4, bishop g5. Bishop g5 is putting pressure on the queen here. And now h6 comes in. h6 comes in, putting pressure on the bishop. And now bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, e3. Now castles. Rook c1, d takes c4, bishop c4, and now there is this line with c5, and here after castle c takes d4 there is a line that leads to a forced draw, and many games actually ended in draw like this. Knight takes d4, white goes bishop d7, you go queen b3. It looks like you're putting some pressure. Now knight c6, knight takes c6, bishop takes c3, and now you play rook takes c3, bishop c6, and now bishop e5, and they basically players repeat like this and make a draw. This is a drawish line. So in order to avoid this, Gabriela plays the move knight e4. Okay, Gabriela plays knight e4, attacking the queen, and she's simply playing for a win here, rejecting that. And she should be. She's playing somebody 100 points lower than her, and she's there to fight for the norm, so she needs to try to win. a3, questioning the bishop. Still, all these moves are played very fast by Antova here. Look at this, 1:33 on the clock. Knight c6, and now queen d6. Trying to trade queens. Unfortunately, this is one of those kind of positions where you're not going to get too much advantage here, okay? You're not going to get too much advantage. So bishop goes on d8, rook fd1, rook fd takes, knight d6, a6, trying to control the position. Now knight d2. Instead of knight d2, I was thinking maybe bishop on e2 would have been nice here to go here, because still I see some pressure here. I see some pressure in this position, and I think white is still a little bit better here. Not too much, but tiny bit better. She played a knight d2, bishop e7, knight d4, trying to keep the knight there. Now rook d8. Caleb is just simply trying to put some pressure and eventually eliminate this knight from there. f4, capturing some more space and also controlling the e5 square. King f8, bishop e2. And now after all the preparatory work, Caleb Demby is ready. After all the prep, f5, removing the knight from f5. Knight cannot go away because bishop takes on d6, so it has to go knight takes c8, rook ac8, knight c5. Now trying to trade. 7. So all the rooks come off the board. This kind of endgames are generally a little bit better for the side with the bishop, because the bishop is considered stronger when fighting on both sides of the board. Okay, so bishop is stronger when fighting on both sides of the board. So the idea is to go here, king e7, king f2, e6, bishop b3, e4, g5. And here by playing g5, Caleb is taking a big risk here. I think in this type of position, black should just be trying to equalize the game instead of making an aggressive attempt to play for a win, because that gives the outside pass pawn. So one option here, the best option here would have been simply to play king d6 and keep the equality, but he played g5, f takes g5, knight takes g5. But right here, there was a very important move here that could have been played here. Bishop c2. knight g3 check, king f3. Takes on f4, and now king takes f4. Yeah, this would have been the best way, because now here you have a chance to get in here. Knight f4, and if we're breaking the center. And you get a position like this, you're going to be able to push here for a while, because the bishop is attacking this. You also can try to go here and push the g-pawn. So this would going to be a good possibilities here. But that didn't happen. Now we have instead f takes g5 was played. King d3, knight e4, king d4, king d6. Now bishop c2, putting pressure on c6. b4. Knight to d5, activating the knight. Bishop d1, bishop c3, knight c7. Yeah, this is just going to be equal now. Knight b5 is coming up too, and yeah, a little bit of a push, but g3. Yeah, let's say if you play. I'm wondering if you can play the move, let's say g4. The idea, if takes, king takes e4. Now the idea to go here. Yeah, this looks very interesting actually, to try to break the center. g4. Yeah, g3 was played, and now after b6, king c3. He never really wanted to play g4. It's very interesting. I guess the point here is you just go here, and you go here. You have this here, not to take. Yeah, only anybody could be better. It's just going to be block here, so there's no point in doing this. That's why she played instead of that king c3. Players just repeated it. If it's important to meet the move king g4 with the move king g2, that's just a draw. So yeah, and Gabriela was a little bit low on the clock. Very solid game here. There were some chances here for white, but overall I think it was just a very balanced game, and definitely a good result for Caleb Dembe. Neutralizing high-ranked opponent with the black pieces. Let's move on to the next game. This game was actually a game for a good friend of mine. FM Eckert is playing against IM Marek. Okay. b5, g3, castles, a7, takes, f3. So giving up the pawn here, and white is doing absolutely fine here. So let's see the position. And now let's see. After queen a5, there are different ideas here, but let's see here. He played the move a4. This is probably the first long thing here for white. The position looks a little bit better for white. I think I've actually had a game like this. But black has some annoying counterplay on the b file, on the b file and a file. So that's why. So 4, 7. Rook a3. Activating the rook. Yeah, and this looks like a clear advantage here. Clearly an advantage here for FM Eckert. And idea here is to try to open up the position. And he, I think, a little bit hesitated it here with the move here. I played the move knight d2. Not need to. Everything is lined up. It's time to open up the position and give opponent those weaknesses with the move e5. e5 now putting pressure on the knight. Takes. Knight takes. Okay. And now we got some ideas. Nice pressure here. So yeah, e5 definitely is the move here. You know, it's like in this kind of structures, you really want to play e5 and create weaknesses. Take on d6, and you will have some bishop g5 ideas. But yeah, knight d2, no need, because you know eventually you need e5 in this position. Knight at d7, and now the advantage is gone. c8, b3. Yeah, I don't know if b3 is the best move, because it's just c4 move is going to come into play. So perhaps, yeah, white's position looks a little bit cramped here. So yeah, perhaps maybe just need to make like a waiting move h3, you know, just to see how things will develop. So now c4 comes in. Maybe this knight a2, knight f3, going back here to try to consolidate the position. The squares are, the block pieces are very active. The knight is well placed. You got the strong bishop. c4 is under attack. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Attacking. And get this position. So here actually black is enjoying a nice advantage, and play knight c3. Yeah, and here actually it was very important to take the pawn and allow the move knight e7, king f8, and eventually you will surround this pawn and win this pawn, and then you will have an extra d pawn that you can play with an advantage. But instead, I am Marek allowed to play the slow move and allow the move knight d2. And after this, I think black doesn't have much advantage here. Maybe just optical, because white already consolidated the position. Trade. It's tactic. Yeah, well, this is an idea, yeah, but bishop g5. Yeah, it's a solid. There are some chances here to try to hold this position. Still, perhaps even putting the bishop on h6 makes sense here, because you want to keep the pawn fixed on h7. Still drawing chances here. Yeah, but this was the problem here. Just rook e8, activate the rook, and then you're threatening bishop e7 and rook g8 threats. I went here, and now the pawn is just going in. And oh, this was just missing the rook here. So here I guess rook a6 check, but yeah, this looks already tough because now bishop e5 is out there. Threatening mate, so you have to play this actually. But yeah, this is kind of hard now, because we can probably play here bishop c3 and maybe even start pushing the pawn. Yeah, this is definitely advantageous now for black here. But yeah, tough game here. Definitely FM Eckert had his chances. He had to play the early move e5, and he would have been in good shape there with advantageous position. So again, in this kind of positions, guys, you're looking for the e5 break, and here white had that already. There was no need to even hesitate. Just immediately go for it. Next game we have is the game between two very tough players, Varun Krishnan, who got IM and Ryo Chen, who came narrowly close to do it here. e4, c5, f3, d6. Sicilian defense. e5. Bishop e3. So we get to this position. And now we have the bishop d3. So far it's normal. This is just the opening position. Now b6 is played. The point of b6 is actually restrict the knight, not allow him to go to c5 and a5. Goes check, king c7, c3, b7. And now f4 comes in, inaccuracy. Yeah, this one I was very surprised because, you know, the bishop is strong on d5, and it's important to try to keep that bishop blocked up here. So the move king c2 would have been fine, okay? Something like that, you know, just to see how things will develop. You don't want to rush in this position, you know, and certainly you don't want to play the move f4 because it opens up the bishop. So f4 was based on a miscalculation here. Rook g1, bishop e4 takes, bishop g6. Based on this, and the bishop rook is now going to get trapped here. Bishop f6 is going to be very, very difficult to prevent. And yeah, so if you play f5, actually it's still bishop f6. Anyhow, takes, take, and you know, you will eventually lose. You know, pick up the pawn. So so yeah, based on that miscalculation, now I play here, and this is just a winning position for Ryo Chen, and I expect him to just convert with extra pawn, but he started to play a little bit inaccurately here. Bishop d6, bishop e3. This is fine. Of course, you can't take this pawn because on the move rook e2, then you're going to have problems with your bishops. Okay, so that's why I played here. Yeah, position is just winning here. There are many different ways how to convert. Perhaps it was a little bit too quick to push this. Maybe just pin. I would have liked to pin the bishop and trade rooks. E6, yeah. Yeah, another option is actually you can try to play the move bishop to g3 and then continue pushing the f-pawn. Bishop d6. Here, yeah, just, you know, just have to play g5 here. I don't know why g5 wasn't played. Just simply push the pawn on g5 and just push. Connect your pawns. You have one strong pass pawn. Push the second pawn, and it would have been win. So Raya went here, and now again this is winning, but it's just getting harder and harder now. And yeah, so yeah, he just made it more difficult for himself. Varun played very good defense, I have to say, you know. And it was a very, very long game. I can move up to the final part, and in this position is still winning for black here, but he played the wrong move here, a5. So a5 allowed the move king c6, and it became a drawish, you know, so it was just a one move blunder. Instead, king a4 is just winning the game here. The point being is, or even just a6, just a waiting move actually, because you want to make sure if the king goes here, you just take the pawn. So and so if you go here now, for example, simply can even play king b3 here, king a4, and just push the pawns. Two connected pass pawns are going to win, but it was just a blunder by Ryo Chen here playing this move and allow king c6. He thought he's going to win this, but the king is just too close. Yeah, this is just a draw. And now king can even go back to c2 here. Yeah, and they agree to draw here. So yeah, this is a fantastic escape here for Varun, who made a big mistake by playing f4 in the opening, but he managed to bounce back and make a draw after that. Now, the next game we have is actually a game between Talia Cervantes, and this was one of those games that I unnecessarily lost. You know, a loss that wasn't necessary here. Talia is playing somebody up 140 points higher than her, Tianqi Wang, and you know, I thought she got a very decent position out of the opening, but then It's like a Slav. I mean, white doesn't have much here. Once you play bishop e2 and later, very soon you play the move bishop e3, you don't really have that much here. But basically here, bishop a3, rook f1. Yeah, they get in this position where actually optically it looks even better, Optically it looks good for white, but it's not so simple. It's not so simple to break through. Yeah, you do have a nice center, but what you going to do with it? Are you going to be able to push? Yeah, you don't want to push c5. You create a weakness. d5 is very difficult. And 97 played. I don't know about this move before. I don't know. I mean, because you're also opening up opponents' rooks. So I don't know, whether or not like move like rook d3 could be played, just to be ready to double up. Queen d6. Take. And this kind of positions are always a little bit easier to play with the black pieces because black has one weakness. The pawn on b5, you have always two. One weakness versus two, So that's why it's always a little bit trickier, Rook a1. And yeah, here black is already getting a little bit pressure here. The e5 pawn might fall, b4 might fall, so it's just becoming more difficult here. Picking up some pawns. Again, I mean, even queen e5, if you go, well, actually here there's rook a1, queen f7. This is the point. That's why queen f5 was played to make sure it's f7 is guarded, but this move just drops a pawn here. I did not quite understand why to give up the h3 pawn. H3 pawn is to still have the weakness there. So if you're gonna do that, at least just maybe play the move king g2. If rook takes, then rook a8. No, try to fight. It's not going to be easy, but at least you're still fighting rook f8. But after queen h3, it just became a problem because king is now very weak, and endgames are going to be tough too if you trade h takes before it's coming. So yeah, creating weaknesses. Became a problem. Yeah, it's one of those games. It's an unpleasant loss, I would call it. Where basically you had absolutely safe position and just slowly got outplayed. By making some suboptimal moves. Not really blunders, but suboptimal moves. Like after before. Like here, it's not. You don't even have to play before. You can just play rook d3. You can wait a little bit. You can do other things, but just. Allow b5, and now there's a fight now for the dark squares. So a good win here for Tianhe Bank. Unfortunately for Talia, yeah, this was a tough loss here. And the last game of this round was another long game. We had a lot of long games in this round, guys. And this is a game between Stavrula Tsolakidu, I am Tsolakidu, against Yim. So there's quite a big of rating difference here, 200 points. So let's take a look. We have the Rui Lopez. So 83, 95, 96, 55, knight g4. Knight d5. Now a4 coming up. And now c6, putting pressure on d5. c4. Trying to fight, because if you take on c6, knight goes c6, actually black could be even better. This was a little bit surprising, because I thought it just simple take, and queen b7, questioning the pawn, and then you have the maneuver knight c8, knight b6 coming up. So it would have been quite nice to put some pressure. But here, still, I thought this was better for black. Oh, perhaps just rook b8. Then knight b5 is coming up too. Yeah, definitely. Equal position here, but slowly white consolidated and actually end up winning the game. I think, yeah, this was just bit passively played by black, And, still, it's absolutely fine for black, this position. Wait, if anybody black, it's just better here. So d2. Yeah, now white is getting a little bit better. So I think, yeah, just being active is very important, So let's see here. So here, perhaps maybe bishop c3 could have been played. Try to trade and pick up the pawn. Takes, knight takes. Now the pawns are hanging. So you go to d2 before saying, so you probably have to go here. Then you're going to go here. Pawn is under attack. Yeah, and the pawns are too weak here. This would have been a good concept here to try to still play a little bit and have chances. But instead, just King f8 was just too passive, and now rook is coming in. You're defending. Pieces are going back. See, that's what you try to avoid. You let the opponent pieces come in. Now they repeat, and now Solakid doesn't want to draw. She realizes she can play now. Getting ready to push the pawn to b5. Yeah, this was a problem. Now letting the knight to d4 and not being able to cover that's become a real problem. b5 was maybe some problem, but allowing the knight on d4 is becoming a big problem. Yeah, now here. Yeah, this is just, once the knight lands on c6, you're gonna lose this game. Yeah, this was a problem here. Just take, and you're still in the game. It's still going to be extremely hard to win this position because you don't have b6 and kind of tied up to the weakness. But the move knight a8, that's just very passive. Bishop c3, and now got the knight hanging in this. This was just probably a blunder. And now bishop takes g1. Yeah, basically the rest is just easy conversion. Basically, king goes here, and 7 wins here. So yeah, nice win at the end for IM Tsolakidu. She was certainly in a little bit of trouble out of the opening. Opening didn't go well for her, and Yim played well in the opening, just got a nice position, but just had to play actively. At some point, he played too slowly and allowed opponent get too much activity. So, and that became the problem in this game. So overall, a very interesting game, and again, experienced player at the end managed to play in the endgame a little bit better. One thing we learned from this game, you never want to play passively. You never want to play passively. You always want to try to play your game as actively as possible, because when they got to this endgame position, it looked absolutely fine for black. But the passive play, by just sitting there and not doing anything, allow white to take over the game. See, like here you have black is doing great here, but it's not doing too much, and it became a problem. So this concludes the recap of the round number 5, guys, and we'll be back with round number 6 very shortly, and hope you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe to 1000 JM YouTube channel so you can see all the new good content. Thank you and see you soon.